The chaos started on an otherwise boring Tuesday morning, the kind of morning where nothing unusual ever happens, until it suddenly does. I opened my rusty old mailbox expecting the usual stack of coupons and utility bills, but instead, I froze. Sitting right on top was a thick envelope marked, "Urgent, legal notice." My heart dropped a little, but curiosity won. I tore it open right there on the sidewalk. Inside was something so ridiculous, so bizarre, that I actually laughed at first. A lawsuit demanding nearly $5,000 in HOA dues from an HOA I wasn't even a member of. My brain started racing. Had someone typed my name wrong? Was this a scam? Was I being pranked by a bored teenager? But no, this was real. The documents listed my address, my lot number, even my closing date. The HOA claimed I was delinquent, uncooperative, and violating community responsibilities. Which was hilarious because my street has never been part of any HOA. That was the entire reason I bought this house, freedom. I didn't want a group of strangers dictating what shade of beige my garage door had to be. Still confused, I went inside, pulled out my property deed, and read it line by line. No mention of an HOA. No binding agreements. Nothing. So why were they suing me? Determined to get answers, I jumped onto our local neighborhood Facebook group and posted a screenshot of the letter. Within minutes, comments poured in. "Dude, they're trying to annex random houses. They sent me one too. They've been harassing people for months." That was when the laughter stopped. This wasn't a mistake. This was a planned shakedown. A messy, greedy power grab. And unfortunately for them, I wasn't about to roll over. By the next morning, I was done being confused. I wanted answers, real ones. So I drove straight to the Whisper Pines HOA office, a small brick building squeezed between a nail salon and a vape shop. Inside, it looked less like an office and more like a badly decorated throne room. And sitting at the center of it was Greg, the infamous HOA president. He wore sunglasses indoors, like he expected paparazzi to jump out at any moment. His desk was stacked with random papers, a half-empty energy drink, and a gold pen he kept tapping against the table like some kind of judge. Before I could even sit down, he barked, "If you're here about the delinquent dues, let me stop you. You owe. Everyone owes." I stayed calm and placed my property deed on his desk. "This says I'm not in your HOA. Not now. Not ever." Greg didn't even look at it. "We voted last year to expand the HOA boundaries," he said with a smug grin. "Your street is now included." I blinked. "Did any homeowners on my street vote on that?" "No," he said flatly. "The board made the decision. It's legal." It wasn't. And we both knew it. "I didn't agree to join your HOA. You can't force me." Greg leaned back in his chair like a movie villain about to deliver his final line. "People like you always fight at first. Then you pay. We always win." That sentence sparked something in me, pure disbelief mixed with anger. This man actually thought he ran the neighborhood. I stood up, gathered my papers, and said quietly, "We'll see about that." For the first time, Greg's confidence cracked. He had no idea the storm he'd just invited into his world. The moment my attorney, Melissa Carter, saw the lawsuit, she raised an eyebrow so high it nearly touched her hairline. "This HOA is operating like a street gang with paperwork," she said. "Let's shut this down." We filed a counterclaim so strong it could have knocked down a brick wall. Fraud, harassment, unlawful collections, attempted annexation, and emotional distress. Suddenly, the HOA that had been roaring like a lion in their letters went completely silent. When the court date arrived, the courtroom was packed. Apparently, Half the neighborhood wanted to watch Greg's empire burn. Greg waddled in with a binder stuffed full of printouts, Google Maps screenshots, blurry photos of street signs, and a hand-drawn, updated HOA boundary map that looked like a 9-year-old's art project. He looked proud of it too, like this was his winning evidence. Our turn came. Melissa walked up calmly, placing several official county documents on the judge's bench. Zoning maps, property records, deed restrictions, and a notarized statement from the county clerk confirming that the HOA had never filed any amendment to expand their territory. Greg's smug expression melted off his face. Then came the moment that changed everything. The judge leaned forward and asked, "Mr. Gregory, can you show this court where, in any county record, your HOA expansion was legally approved?" Greg shuffled through his papers, panic rising. "What we have," he stuttered, "is community consensus." The judge frowned. "Community consensus is not law. Filing is law." A wave of whispers moved across the courtroom. Then the judge added the knockout blow. "Based on the evidence, your HOA appears to be acting outside legal authority. I am ordering a formal investigation into its operations." Greg's face drained of color. He knew. This wasn't just about losing a case. This was the beginning of the end. The investigation moved faster than anyone expected. It was like the judge had kicked down a door that had been quietly creaking for years. Within days, county auditors and legal inspectors were digging through every document, every financial record, every alleged rule Whisper Pines HOA had ever enforced. And what they found was worse than anything I imagined. First, the HOA hadn't filed taxes for 3 straight years. Not a late payment. Not a missing form. 3 entire years of no filings whatsoever. Then came the financial records, or rather, the lack of them. Over $70,000 in collected dues had no documented use. No receipts, no logs, no bank statements. It was like the money simply evaporated, or found its way into someone's personal pocket. Homeowners began coming forward. One couple said Greg threatened to fine them $200 a day for having the wrong style of mailbox. Another neighbor revealed he had been forced to pay $900 in maintenance fees for repairs that never happened. A single mother said Greg demanded she repaint her house twice because he didn't like the shade. With every testimony, Greg's title of HOA president sounded less like a leader and more like a neighborhood tyrant. Finally, after 2 weeks of digging, the county released its official findings, and the judge called everyone back into the courtroom. His ruling was short, but devastating. Effective immediately, the Whisper Pines Homeowners Association is dissolved. Its board is removed. Its authority is revoked. The organization, in its current form, is illegal. Gasps filled the courtroom. Greg's mouth hung open like someone had unplugged his brain. Members of the board slumped in their seats. But it wasn't over. The judge continued. The former board members will be personally accountable for restitution, repayment of mismanaged funds, and reimbursement of any homeowners wrongfully charged. Justice didn't just knock on their door. It kicked it down. 1 month after the HOA was officially dissolved, life in the neighborhood felt different, lighter. People smiled more. Lawns looked a little freer. And for the first time since I'd moved in, nobody was walking around with clipboards pretending to have power over everyone's lives. Then one afternoon, I found something unexpected in my mailbox. Not a threat, not a bill, not a lawsuit, but a thank you card. It was from a family 2 streets over who wrote, "You didn't just stand up for yourself. You stood up for all of us. Thank you for giving us our neighborhood back." That card hit me harder than any courtroom victory. I hadn't realized how many people had been silently suffering under Greg's little kingdom. His intimidation, fake fines, made-up rules, and power trips had been a shadow over everyone for years. And it only took one person saying, "No," to push the dominoes down. The whole experience taught me something I wish more homeowners knew. You have rights, even against an HOA. Especially against an abusive one. Not all HOAs are bad. Some maintain order, help communities grow, and protect property values. But when an HOA crosses the line, when it becomes a weapon instead of a shield, it needs to be stopped before it destroys the people it's supposed to serve. As for Greg, well, let's just say his reign of neighborhood terror is over. He tried starting something called a community leadership council, but not a single resident joined. When he walks his dog now, people look away, not out of fear, but out of embarrassment for him. His empire turned to dust. And mine, I gained something I never expected. The respect of my neighbors, the peace of my home, and the satisfaction of knowing I beat a corrupt system by standing my ground. In the end, justice didn't just win. It echoed through every street in our community.